Hello everyone, and welcome to Comic Book Cove number 4. This episode, as you can see, we have a stack of DC Comics Rebirth issues to get through. Needless to say, spoilers ahead. In this episode, we are going to cover The Flash 2 and 3, Wonder Woman number 2, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern's Corps Rebirth number 1, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern's Corps 1, Green Lantern Rebirth number 1, Green Lanterns number 1 through 4, Superman 3 and 4, and Action Comics 959 and 960. Needless to say, we have a lot to discuss. Let's get to it. The Flash number 2, Lightning Strikes Twice Part 2, Thunderstruck. We start off with Detective August Hart using his powers getting trained by Flash. If you can remember, he's kind of doing the little vortexes, the little trying to run, he falls. One thing that he does pick up is that Barry Allen is the Flash because Barry Allen got hit by lightning and August remembered that. What were the odds of that? Barry Allen tries to play him off, but it doesn't work. Also, Detective August Hart, when he starts training with the Flash, he figures out the identity. He kind of wants to be the Flash's partner. Flash doesn't really know if he wants to be his partner or not, but he figures he'll see what happens. Also in this issue, Iris West investigates the black hole. She ends up asking the right questions to maybe the wrong people, gets abducted by the black hole, but she does escape. We find out that kind of the madman, the person behind the black hole is Dr. Carver. And he's been doing him and a few other scientists were former members of Star Labs. They've been doing some experiments with the Speed Force. August and Flash team up to stop the members of the black hole, but not before hitting Flash with a weapon that kind of neutralizes the Speed Force. And the biggest thing is Dr. Carver triggers another Speed Force storm that creates more speedsters. That's some of the highlights of The Flash number 2. The Flash number 3, Speed City. After the Speed Force storm, there's people all over the place using the Speed Force in a lot of different ways. August and Flash, they're teaming up to capture some and take them to Iron Heights, which is a prison that is holding Dr. Zoom. From there, Flash tells August about what's happened to him and why is a history of Dr. Zoom. Star Labs sets up a Speed Force training center, and that's where the Flash is introduced to Dr. Mina Darwin. She is helping with the speedster. She herself is a speedster. Iris West gets more information about Black Hole by Wally West using his Speed Force to not to capture, but to gather a file. Iron Heights is attacked. Most of the speedsters get killed, but except for August, and he says he was attacked by a new speedster named Godspeed, who he said used the Speed Force as a weapon. Josh, what are your thoughts so far on The Flash 2 and 3? As we just went over bullet points, we're letting the audience, we're giving some bullet points of what happened in the issue, and we get into a little deeper discussion. But what did you think of The Flash and The Flash number 3?
It was cool. It was an interesting way, almost very similar to the Spider Island story arc in Spider-Man, where a whole ton of people in New York end up with Spider-Man kind of powers. And this is sort of similar to that, where suddenly you have a whole bunch of super speedsters, which I think would be a lot more chaotic than having just people with Spider-Man powers. And then if you have an organization which is trying to manipulate the Speed Force or control the Speed Force, it's interesting to have them making more speedsters if they're trying to control it. It's interesting to see. I'll be interested to see what the black hole's end goal is. If it's to give themselves super speed, or not to give themselves super speed, or just to somehow maybe feed this Godspeed fellow. It'll be interesting to see.
One thing that I liked is with the Flash has had the Speed Force for quite some time, but August is just now kind of using it. He's kind of thinking, well, why can't I use the Speed Force to do this? Why can't I use the Speed Force to do that? And the Flash is kind of telling him that's not the way it works, so we still work within the law. Well, if you had a chance to go back and use the Speed Force to save your mother, wouldn't you do that? Flash kind of said, yeah, about that. Talks to him about Ebal Thawne. But I think this was more of like the Flash kind of thought that the Speed Force did this to give him a partner on purpose. And then when they fight the black hole and gets hit by the weapon, he gets charged. August's Speed Force kind of helps him recharge. But then we have the Speed Force at the end, creates all these speedsters. Like you said, some are good, some are bad, some don't know how to control it. Flash tries to help. And he wants to rehabilitate all these speedsters, not to necessarily be forces of good, but to understand his powers. But Godspeed shows up and starts attacking. Yeah, what is his end game there? I kind of like, and they also hit upon the partner with Iris West and Wally West and this doctor, the new doctor that they have, I just forgot her name, Dr. Darwin. Just the whole theme of when I had a partner, he felt better having a partner helping him, but might be having a little bit too many partners.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see why Godspeed didn't kill August either, because he clearly had the powers to do it, but didn't. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the Flash. I think these two issues started out pretty strong, 2 and 3. But we'll get to see what happens. Who is Godspeed Dr. Carver, which I believe he is, and is there? Oh, one thing I thought was cool was when the Rogues were watching at the bar.
Yeah,
they were, all right, it's time we pack out. There's too many speedsters for us.
Oh yeah.
That was a good. So I like Flash 2 and 3. I think we're going to see some good things. Hopefully August survives, and he's able to become a speedster, a heroic one. It gives a little balance to the Flash.
And he finally picks a name, too. Because I'm tired of saying August.
Yes. Detective August needs a code name.
Yeah. Badly.
Wonder Woman #2, Year 1, Part 1. This is kind of a dual storyline of Steve Trevor and Princess Diana, how they kind of meet in the middle. But we see how Trevor starts off, how Diana starts off. She's always kind of staring off into the horizon. It shows their friendships and relationships both of them had. Towards the end of the issue, Diana is riding, and she comes to this tree that looks kind of dead and gets bitten by a snake. She heals up, and one of the priestesses says that this was a vision. Not a vision, but this was a sign from the gods. And this is when she opens up a statue, I guess something covering the statue, and the magic lasso is on one of the is on the statue. At the end of the issue, a plane carrying Steve Trevor and the soldiers crashes on Themyscira, and Diana comes in with the other Amazons, and looks like everyone's dead except Steve Trevor. This is the first time that man has ever kind of breached the island. That's Wonder Woman Part 1. I liked it. I like seeing the dual storyline of this is how we got here, and this is how they met. And one of the things I think is kind of neat is every other issue will continue the Year 1. Next week will be, or the next issue will be Cheetah, and then it goes back and forth on Year 1.
And it makes good sense because in the previous issue she was trying to figure out her past, so it sort of makes sense that she'd be doing stuff in the present and also retelling the past, and also kind of reintroducing Steve Trevor in a different way.
Yeah, more modern take on Steve Trevor.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the mythos, they've said that she had remembered 3 different ways, so hopefully this clears up who Wonder Woman is, where she is. I noticed that she is very loyal to her mother and her other Amazonian sisters, but she's always looking out to the horizon, always looking. Steve Trevor is bound by his loyalty to his friend, as you see them going through being named the godfather of his friend's son, or child, I should say. But I believe it was a son. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But
yeah.
So I like the Year 1 focus, and every other issue will be in the present and the past. I think Wonder Woman will be pretty good.
Yeah. Also, very curious about that tree.
Yeah.
That seems like it would be more than a vision. I mean, to me, maybe Ares was trying to take her out early on. Who knows? I mean, it'll be interesting to see.
Everything in Themyscira happens, they believe in a purpose, in a destiny.
Yeah.
And they're saying destiny is called to Diana. So maybe that was the stop of the destiny. We'll find out in a couple of issues, because next issue of Wonder Woman will be back to Cheetah, and then they alternate to Year 1. I have to say this next title has to be one of the longest titles in comic book history. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Rebirth #1. forged. We start off with Oa being destroyed. Sinestro Corps is pretty well the authoritative police of the galaxy, and they're taking World to the center of the universe where Oa is. The Green Lantern Corps, they're lost. I don't know where they're exactly at. They show Sinestro as old and frail, kind of weary from the battle that he went through with the Green Lantern Corps. You see Hal Jordan wearing a, I guess what do you want to call it, like a developmental ring weapon?
Yeah.
And he starts to forge himself a new ring made from concentrated will. While he's hammering that piece of will, different people connected to the emotional spectrum, such as the Lost Guardians, Kyle Rayner, Star Sapphire, the Indigo Tribe, they can feel the tremors in the will, almost like tremors in the Force.
Yeah.
We find out also that the Parallax entity is powering Warworld. And at the very end of the issue, Hal Jordan is back to being a Green Lantern again, which is what he should be in the first place.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, #1. Say it with me 5 times. Imagine typing that up 5 different times. We start off with The Last Lantern, Sinestro's Law, Part 1. Hal Jordan is looking for the Green Lantern Corps. Sinestro revitalizes himself by siphoning energy from Parallax. Hal Jordan, when that happens, Hal Jordan feels the energy of fear when Sinestro is restored. Sinestro rallies his troops to instill great fear throughout the universe. Hal Jordan runs into 2 members of the Sinestro Corps who are surprised to see him, and it ends with the Green Lantern Corps returns. I've always been a big Green Lantern fan, and to see Sinestro, to see the Green Lantern Corps, to see all the emotional spectrums, it just kind of feels right to me.
Yeah. I think it's one of the things that Green Lantern, his entire universe, has sort of survived 2 reboots so far. I mean, the New 52 more or less continued on where he was in the comics, and now Rebirth has continued on where he was from there, right where the storyline was, and that's kind of nice. It's still a lot to take in, especially if you haven't been keeping up with that. You start to say, wait, where's Oa? What's this thing chained to Hal Jordan's hand? What's going on? Where are the Green Lantern Corps? But that's also part of the fun, too.
I enjoy seeing Sinestro. Sinestro, he is the most arrogant Lantern, but he believes what he's doing is right. He believes what he stands for is just. And he, through fear, he wants to he wants to police the galaxy. And now Hal Jordan's back to himself. Using the power of Parallax, Sinestro's back to his form, but will that power kind of corrupt him over time? He's using kind of pure fear. I don't think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think the way Hal Jordan forged his ring, I don't think that was a good thing either, because it did send off tremors.
Well, and I think, to my knowledge, this is the first time anyone in the Sinestro Corps has been sort of the avatar of Parallax. I mean, previously it was Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner was infected by it for a while, then for a while it was Kyle Rayner and Hal Jordan together who were both it. It is that Parallax like to corrupt sort of beings of willpower. So it's interesting to see Sinestro as it. I think it's a cool look. I mean, I think it makes sense to me, but
I think he took some of the power. I don't think he took Parallax completely.
But he still ended up with the cape and the nice shoulder pads and stuff, which is a nice look. That's a cool look.
It's I like the Galactic Police. I like the whole will spectrum. I like Hal Jordan being a Green Lantern. I like Sinestro being the opposite. And hopefully the Green Lantern Corps comes back. I think we're going to see a lot of good storylines from the Green Lantern Corps, because this was the first, when you talk about Rebirth, it all started with Green Lantern Rebirth about 10 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So that's, looking forward to that. We'll keep you abreast on Green Lantern Corps. Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps. Longest title ever.